All right, so the abdominal aorta comes down through the diaphragm here. The first exit that comes off of the abdominal aorta is the celiac trunk, which is a short little artery that comes out and then branches 3 times. The right hand branch goes into the bottom of the liver. That's the common hepatic artery. The left hand branch goes over to the spleen. That's the splenic artery. And then the third branch can look different from model to model. This one is the left gastric artery. The stomach isn't shown on this model. It kind of comes out and goes up on the back side of the stomach. Then we go back to the abdominal aorta, and the next exit in red coming off of it is going to be the superior mesenteric artery, which is just above the left renal vein on this model. This is going to be the renal vein and renal artery going to the kidney on the left, the right renal artery and vein going to the kidney on the right. Then below the renal artery and vein, we come down. Usually there might be a few things shown that we didn't learn. And then the very last red exit off of the abdominal aorta before it splits to the common iliac arteries is the inferior mesenteric artery. On the venous side, we talked about the renal veins, which go directly into the inferior vena cava. Here is the splenic vein coming over from the spleen. It joins or merges with the inferior mesenteric vein, which came from low in the intestines and up, and it just doesn't show that much of it, but that's the inferior mesenteric vein, lateral to the abdominal aorta on the spleen side. The inferior mesenteric vein flows into the splenic vein, and then the splenic vein flows into the hepatic portal vein, which comes into the bottom side of the liver over here. This is the superior mesenteric vein, which runs real near to the superior mesenteric artery and then comes up to join with the hepatic portal vein. What am I missing? Splenic. And the left gastric vein is going to come from near the left gastric artery and come over again to the hepatic portal vein. So all of these vessels go directly into the hepatic portal vein, with the exception of the inferior mesenteric vein that goes into the splenic vein first. And then once the liver filters and processes all of that stuff from the abdomen, the blood comes out the liver via the hepatic vein, which goes directly into the inferior vena cava. So that's how you can tell which one is the hepatic vein. It's going into the inferior vena cava. So if I come over to this plate model, I can't see all of that abdominal stuff, but here's the celiac trunk just below the liver, and it comes out and branches 3 times. This is the common hepatic artery that goes into the liver. This is the left gastric artery that goes up onto the back side of the stomach. It's mostly covered up by the stomach here. And this is the splenic artery that goes over to the spleen. Then I come down, and the next exit that would come off is the superior mesenteric artery, which comes out and kind of cascades down like a waterfall when it shows more of it. So this is the superior mesenteric artery and vein. This is going to be the hepatic portal vein going into the liver. Here's a little bit of a view of the splenic vein. And then the hepatic vein comes out the top of the liver and goes directly into the inferior vena cava here.